What is up, people? We're going to be talking about this terrorist attack that just happened no more than about 2.5 hours from where I live here in Florida. And basically, if you don't know, if you're outside the country and you don't know, basically, in the early mornings of June 12th, so basically, June 12th, around like 2 in the morning, at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, some ass clown comes in there with a AK-47 and starts shooting the place up. And apparently he calls the cops and starts pledging allegiance to ISIS. So this guy is an Afghan. He's Afghanistani. I don't know what you call him, the terrorist, whatever ass call. He goes in there and shoots up the nightclub. 50 people die, 53 injured, and they say this is the worst terrorist attack on American soil since 9/11. And I want to say something. I was listening to a podcast that came out around November of last year, and Joey Diaz says, they're coming. You know, don't matter, they're coming. And on that podcast, a lot of people in the comment section said Joey Diaz was pretty horrendously overreacting about this situation. So I'm going to play a snippet of what he was talking about, and this is back in November, like I said, November of 2015. He said, this shit will happen, and they're going to hit hard and keep continuously hitting, and ISIS ain't playing around. And if you don't know, ISIS was formed by the American government. They basically were funding them. But he goes into detail saying, yeah, they're coming. They're coming, and they're going to F shit up. So listen to this really, really quickly. It'll blow your mind that he was saying stuff about this like 6 months ago or 7 months ago before this even happened. And he was talking about it.
We're living in a country where half the country is voting on these refugees, and the other half of the country is like, fuck them. We don't want them. You know, we have to put them to a strict Americans here. Okay, you're saying, Joy, but you're paranoia. Let's say, okay, look what they did in Paris. Look what they're doing everywhere else. Okay, they shot down a plane yesterday. So you're telling me these people they're like Colombians now. You watch Netflix?
Sure, I saw that.
Okay. They had different paths going. They just don't have this way to go to the United States. They just didn't have Panama. They were shipping through Mexico, and it was coming in through Miami, and it was coming in through New York City, and it was coming in through there, and it was coming in through here. And they sent in, and they accepted, out of 7 shipments, they knew 2 of them were going to get grabbed. It's the same mentality when I'm sending over those fucking poncho, and let's get this motherfucker through. And they shaved their beard. You tell me half these Arabs don't look like... Listen, on the way home today, go to the fucking Laurel Canyon and Chandler fucking 7-Eleven. Look me in the face when you walk out and tell me that's not ISIS in there.
The guy that works there?
The whole store. The whole store.
The entire operation.
The entire operation.
Wow.
And I wish this was a joke.
I wish that you can't let the fear get to you like
this. The other day...
It's blinding.
The other day, I walked in there after the attacks, and they had the Arab music blasting. They had the turbans on. They were looking at Americans giggling when they walked in. I was watching them. I was looking for the hubba bubba. You think I'm trying to be funny here? I'm not being fucking funny. So you have to alert. Listen, guys, they're going to do something. They're going to do fucking something, and they want to do it within the next 2 weeks to make a fucking statement. They got this poor Russian all fired up, this Putin guy. He's no fucking genius.
And I'm telling you, that was back in November, and the dude was notoriously saying that this stuff is going to happen. And it's crazy when you hear people like predict stuff, and then you hear the non-naysayers, the people who are not free speakers. They don't lighten up. They look at it and go, well, you know, this should, you're whack. You're crazy. This would never happen again. Well, look what it did. It happened, and they supposedly arrested somebody in California because this guy was going to shoot up a gay pride event. I don't care about the gay pride event if you're gay or not, but you shouldn't be going to a nightclub and getting shot up. That's my thing. You should not be going to a nightclub and get shut up. It's crazy that as a society, we have to walk around and literally keep our eyes open and our ears open and look around because you don't know who's walking through the door with a gun. You know, that's how crazy society is. And you have all these people on Twitter hashtagging gun safety. We need gun safety. No, you don't. You need people that have guns. Like, if anybody in that nightclub would have had a pistol, a gun, and they knew how to use it, and somebody came in and started going boop, 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 and you heard them, and let's say you train how to shoot a gun, or you've been to a gun range and you shot a gun a bunch of times, and you carry a gun because you have the license. In Florida, you have a license that says you're allowed to carry a gun. What would have happened if this guy would have pulled out a gun and just blow, blow, and shot the gunman and killed him? It would have saved millions of people's lives. It would have saved the people in that building's lives. And I would be all fair for that. I don't know if here's what they say: the more the places that have the most guns have the less violence. Why do people? Here's my statement. And I heard this before from a long time ago. I think it was Frank Mir, UFC fighter, goes, why do you see less violence where cops are prone to be? Why do you see less violence where you go to a bar and there's cops that come in there every day at 12? You don't see a lot of violence there because people don't want to mess with police officers or with cops or anything like that. They're like, oh, there's police there. I'm not going to get involved in that. Or they have people that are trained, militia people that could kill you. I'm not messing with that place because they could hurt me. And I'll try to find the snippet of the interview. And basically, Frank Mir was talking about a lot of places that have a lot of guns or a lot of police. The violence and crime is low. So if you could carry a gun, because Frank Mir is a UFC fighter, he also is he's also a gun advocate that says, yeah, I should carry a gun wherever I want. I should be able to carry a gun. I should be able to use it if force comes to that. And a lot of times, if you're fighting with somebody and you pull out a gun, they're like, yeah, sorry. And then they walk away because 9 times out of 10, the guy who has a gun isn't going to use the gun, but it's going to scare the shit out of whoever you pull it on. So I'll try to find that snippet right now.
Especially women should all carry a firearm and be trained in how to use it. The reason being is because that's martial arts started out that way. If you want an opinion, if you want a right to live free, you have to be able to protect yourself. There's a lot of people out there that sometimes get it in their mind to take what you have, or they're having a bad day and they want to inflict damage on you and they want to commit crimes. And they never go for the strong guy. They're never going to pick out the biggest guy in the bar. They're going to go ahead and look for weak people to vandalize and criminalize. And so, if you have a firearm, it's almost kind of like having nuclear power. Mm-hmm. You don't need a nuclear weapon because you have it. You know, no one's ever fired off a nuclear missile. Why? Because you don't want to suffer the consequences. And it's always shown that in states that have higher registered guns have lower crime rates. So it only makes sense. It's like, well, yeah, you know, here's an example. People break into schools all the time and shoot children, right? Mm-hmm. When was the last time someone broke into a police station and shoot it up? Yeah. No, you know, people don't, you know, that's why, you know, if a cop goes into a bar, his meal's comped. Why? Because they know that, oh, if we have police coming here all the time, people are not prone to rob places that you have people carrying guns walking around. I think that, you know, that there is accidental gun discharges and stuff, but that can be eliminated with training. But the one thing is that if someone has information and a controlled understanding of a firearm, the good always outweighs the bad, because then you don't have travesties that you have, like, you know, the Columbine. If the teachers there would have been, part of the teacher's curriculum is to understand firearms, to understand basic self-defense and chokes and arm bars. Then when the kids are walking from classroom to classroom, you have teachers that can lock the children up, go to the front of the classroom and fire back. And that just, you know, sets precedence. And then all of a sudden you hear, you know, the first time, well, yeah, they went in there, but they got shot up. Yeah. That it helps influence future kids that want to go ahead, or other individuals that want to commit a crime. You know, they don't go for those. They're like, wow, you know, you go to the schoolyard, everybody has a gun. Like, I can't believe why we have all these problems on airplanes, right? Everybody's scared to death, you know, on flights.
So, Frank Mir is 150% telling it like it is. If more people carried guns, yes, you'd still have the crazy person who does something crazy and goes out and shoots somebody. That's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you have gun control or not. You're going to have people shoot up places. People are still going to get guns no matter what. It's funny, the people who have guns that are registered regular people, not criminals, 9 times out of 10, the people who do the crimes are not registered gun owners. It's crazy people who some way got like a Tommy gun or a BB gun or a machine gun, whatever you want to call it, and they shoot up places like the incident like I was talking about earlier in Orlando. But it is true, most gun owners who are licensed gun owners aren't going to go out and do crazy stuff. It's usually the criminals who have nothing better to do. They're crazy. They're ISIS influencers. They're whoever. I don't even see how you can get to be an ISIS influencer. You look at them on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and you go, yeah, I follow that shit. They shouldn't even allow that shit on social media. But that's my opinion on the podcast. Joey Diaz is 100% correct on what he was talking about. Frank Mir, UFC fighter, he's 100% correct on what he stands for. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the people who died in Orlando. All they were doing was going out there, because they said it was a Latin, what I heard, it was a Latin night. So a lot of people didn't speak English, but it doesn't matter. They shouldn't have got killed. All they were doing was going out there to the club to have a great time, have a few drinks, dance with their girlfriends, their boyfriends, their friends, just have a great time. And this shit goes down. It's notoriously a sick thing. You know, this shit happens. And when you look at it based on religious purposes, like if you're looking at like Muslim, the religion, it's notoriously violent. They're notoriously violent people. Like, not all Muslims are bad, but that, like, Islam and all that is a very violent religion. It's very violent. And you tell me, oh, it's not that violent. Yeah, it is. They've been at war for years, for thousands of years, and they're going to keep continuously doing shit like this because their culture is very violent. The rest of the world doesn't live in a violent culture, so it's not normal that you pull out a gun and start shooting people. I don't know if you can ever say it's normal, but in their culture, you have a lot of car bombings, a lot of shootings, a lot of deaths, and that's kind of like the way of life in the Middle East. It's a very violent place, like hell. But other than that, the rest of the world doesn't live like that. So that's my podcast for the day. Thanks for listening, and thanks for stopping by.